Hi everyone, excuse me. Welcome to the 3-hour news show. You are now watching our signature segment, See the Stories. For today's segment, we are going to talk about a delicious topic that brings joy to many, which is chocolate. But do you know that Indonesia has a growing reputation for producing high-quality cacao beans? Now let's have a look.
Indonesian chocolate reflects the diversity of local cacao culture. It has a variety of flavors and styles due to different cacao plantation. These include cacao from Sumatra, Java, Sulawesi, Papua, and Bali. Each region produces cacao beans with a signature taste. For instance, cacao beans from Sulawesi have a fruity and spicy flavor, while from Sumatra, the beans taste earthier and woodier.
Indonesia has a sterling reputation for producing high-quality cacao beans as the basic ingredients in making chocolate. Local chocolatiers have also been recognized for their expertise and dedication to their fine products. They often focus on using local cocoa beans with sustainable production to create delightful chocolate products as well as to promote the country's cacao heritage.
Now, speaking of chocolate, let's welcome Irvan Helmi, owner of Pipiltin Cocoa, which is among the SMEs that receive an exclusive business matching opportunity in Japan through the wikiexport.jp platform. Thank you so much, Irvan, for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Such an honor for you to come. This is actually quite one of the brand that is my favorite.
Wow, appreciate it.
In
Humbled.
Indonesia.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Since 7 years ago, so I'm so happy
Oh,
to
wow. Okay, happy to finally meet you. Yeah.
So she's a big fan.
Wow, thank you so
All right,
much.
so before, I don't want to make it, say it wrongly. Is it cocoa? Pipiltin cocoa?
Pipiltin cocoa is okay. Pipiltin cocoa is okay.
All right. All right, first things first. So the ASEAN Summit was held this week in Jakarta. A lot of topics were discussed during the event, including overseas business opportunity for SMEs. Now, as the owner of Pipiltin Cocoa, what is your take on Indonesian business trends? Maybe you can start from the general first.
Well, business trends. Well, since more than 16 years experience in business, I think sustainability issue is one of the main topic that we are thriving actually.
Yeah.
So we are doing really relevant talk if we talk about the intact forest, if we talk about the agroforestry, and we tell the audience, the end consumer that, hey, this is not just a commodity, we have also stories. So the business trends includes not just the commodity, but the story of real sustainability and also the culture behind the people who produce from the upstream to downstream, and is really relevant for the future, I think. So.
Yeah. So you're the founder of Pipiltin
Co-founder,
Cocoa.
that's two
Co-founder.
people.
Okay, there are two people who
Yeah.
founded the company.
Yeah.
But it seems that you're not only selling chocolate.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, there is a lot of stories behind that from upstream to downstream.
Exactly.
What is actually the mission of Pipiltin Cocoa?
Well, chocolate we found is one of the vehicle, to convey the message about the diversity of Indonesia. So we have this motto, beda-beda itu enak in Indonesian language. Yeah.
It's almost similar to Bhinneka Tunggal Ika.
Yeah, it's almost uniting diversity.
Yes.
So we believe that if people ask what is the best chocolate of Indonesia, I think it's one of the hardest question because once you taste chocolate from Aceh, it is far different compared to chocolates from Java, from Bali, from Flores, from Kalimantan, from Sulawesi, from Papua, and you just name it. I mean, you have more than tens of single origins.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting about this business. Yeah.
Yeah, see, when I was reading the voiceover, how I was saying first, a cocoa from Sulawesi is different, and he was like nodding the whole time. I was like, yeah, you got it right.
Wow, yeah, exactly, spot on.
So that would be your mission, to show the world that from each different parts of Indonesia, they have different tastes.
Yes, different tastes, but still, the number one, it has to taste good.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you talk about diversity, if you talk about the culture, but the taste is not really good, I mean, it doesn't resonate with
The customer,
the majority
it
of
won't
people,
sell
right?
as well.
So yeah, so tasty, complex flavor is like the bottom line.
Okay, so
And we
it's
put on top of it the...
right.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because you mentioned that one of the mission of Coco is to also elevate the chocolate experience of
Yep.
the customers. And you mentioned before during our offline conversation that some people might still have a different view of chocolate. They think that chocolate is a lot of sugar,
Yep.
it's not good for your body, but Coco, Built-in Coco actually have a different mission.
Yep.
Can you share more about that?
Well, if we want to stay in the business,
Yeah.
we have to take into account about the healthy side. Yeah. So the people
Which
who
is
consume
rising in
and
awareness,
can
right?
can even the main question, can my family eat the chocolate every day, right? How can they eat the chocolate every day? So the bottom line also has to be healthy. So we produce mainly more into dark chocolates in terms of more than 60 to 70% up. Percent means the cocoa content, yeah?
Right.
The cocoa beans content,
Right.
yeah. So there's a cocoa butter, real cocoa butter, and also the real cocoa solids inside the chocolates. So I think there are many misconceptions about the chocolates. Chocolates is the one who to blame.
For diabetes?
Well, yeah. Actually, I eat sugar, but moderately. So if you consume moderately, I think we don't get those high risk. And chocolates also contains a lot of flavonols. It is the natural antioxidant. Yeah, so it is really healthy if you eat a dark chocolate, especially 70% and up. Yep.
And one of the most, excuse me, I have a follow-up question because I'm so excited. One of the things that is actually striking to me from your brand is actually the packaging.
Okay.
It feels that it's upscale, artisanal, which was not very common from Indonesian brand at the time. And nowadays, there's a lot of upcoming sort of competitors or fellow businesses that also going into that direction. So firstly, what inspired you to create such a brand that induce a feeling of premiumness? And also, how do you feel about other brands coming up in the market?
Oh, wow, okay, that's interesting topic. Yeah, in terms of the competition, we see that competition is their friends to penetrate. We cannot do this alone. I mean, we are, in front of us is like high sugar content chocolates. It's all over of the modern market, right? So how can people do this alone? So I think competitors are really helping us to penetrate the market. So the main question is how to differentiate, right?
Yes.
So the differentiation is, one is the storytelling. The second is, of course, the process, the product quality that we assure is going to be the built-in way of doing the fermentation chocolate. So we have this sort of recipe to fermentate to do the fermentation from the upstream side. So I think it's all good news. But the packaging side is, how can people relate with the sustainability? It's really quite hard. It's like somehow it's a hard topic. Somehow some people call it like a greenwashing topic.
Exactly, I
So,
was about to
so we
mention
have to be careful, like to put like we are the most sustainable, or whatever. So we're not gonna do it.
Already block it out, right?
No, we're not gonna do it. So we're gonna make this brand as fun as possible, as healthy as possible, as delicious as possible, and as inclusive as possible. So the graphic design is just the manifestation, how we communicate with. So it's different teams. So the credit to them.
Well, amazing. And speaking of greenwashing, right? Now you have a very great visual design that translates your intention and your mission. But what about the behind the scene? Because that's where the work actually lies. How do you maintain the sustainability from the upstream, from the farmers of the cacao? I bet this is a very interesting story from your company.
Well, to maintain the sustainability, you have to listen. So the first skill, I think it's listen and see. Yeah, not just visual, but really see what's in front of you. And I just want to give you one of the example that the origin that we reveal. So The first origin is the Ransiki from West Papua. So we see the people in West Papua, they are living in the buffer zone of the Arfak forest. Yeah. So inside the forest, there is the bird of paradise. There's one of the species called Vogelkop superb, founded in 2017 by Tim Lehman from the US, Cornell Ornithology. Yeah. So there's a research behind this, and you know, we and some of the NGOs are gathering, and we see that the intact forest, how we can sustain this intact forest. And one of the idea is how can we give income, economical value, that we can, if the forest is intact, then we have this economical value. So it's happened to be there's 2,000 hectares of cocoa plantation just resides on the buffer zone of the Arfak forest. So we give the opportunity by the name of Ransiki. We introduce the name of Ransiki becoming the quote-unquote brand of the chocolate, Pipitin Cocoa Ransiki West Papua, so that people would know that, hey, what is most valuable is not just the chocolate, but the story behind this product.
Wow, amazing.
So we
you create
want
awareness for the customer.
For the customers, and really, who is the real hero? I think real hero is the customer who understand and choose the best product that they can buy, they purchase for the family, which has a good value, a good impact for the social, for the environment. I think the hero should be the consumer who understand about this whole thing. And the farmers, we need to empower each other. So who are we want to just help just one way?
The mediator.
So yeah, we have to cooperate with the farmers, not just helping them. They need to also help us.
Yes.
So that's why we give them the responsibility of the name. Hey, Ransiki is also yours.
Ah, so they have
So you
ownership.
have the ownership.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, if we're talking about, we have to talk about the climate change and everything. Of course, it has an effect on the farmers too. You know, with the, maybe you can call it drought or something like that. So how do you handle that, and how has that been going so far?
Yeah.
Well, the climate resilience, we call it, how to be more resilient to not reduce the productivity of the cocoa plantation, right? So the first thing to do is we have to see the endemic. I mean, the tree of the cocoa tree really is not a type of species of tree who live in the estate a big of land. So they used to live inside the forest.
Okay.
So there are some high trees are shading the cocoa trees so that the maturation of the cocoa fruit is really taking longer, so it is sweeter and everything. It doesn't lower risk to have this drought thing, you know. So I think with understanding the real endemic and real habitat of the cocoa plantation, cocoa tree, it helps a lot to mitigate all of those risks. The thing is, when people started to want to gain more and more per hectare, so they will open up the land and everything, and then you have this number that we are trying to achieve, and then it really have a higher risk of the climate change, the resiliency to mitigate the lower the steady or productivity. Well, it depends on the assumptions, right? It depends on the expectations of the people are doing this business. Do you expect it to be like sustainable, or do you expect to be like a big land of estate with a higher risk of climate change?
So short-term greediness or sustainable profit.
Could be.
Right? Okay, so this is very interesting because at the surface level, you're selling chocolate, but in business application, you're managing different kind of things from branding, supply chain, also even farming, right? The chocolate farming itself. And you've been doing this for 10 years. And I bet there's no, you know, like there's a lot of ups and downs. How you manage it so far to be still exist at 10 years now.
Even after the pandemic, so
if you have a baby, it's already like going to elementary school.
The final grade of elementary school now. We are not even a teenager, so we are still young, very young.
Yes. So how did you maintain that?
I think we are trying to build a super team. We are trying to build a super collaborations. I think if we have those, if we listen, if we really see, yeah, those two things that I really, believe on, yeah, I think we can. I mean, even unimaginable. I mean, the thing that you are targeting to achieve is really up there, and you can reach it. So
How many employees?
there's no Superman, yeah,
How
there's no
many
Superwoman.
employees do you have?
Now it's 100 plus.
Wow. Okay. It seems that you've embodied the conscious leadership and it's very, very visionary. So
Thanks, Sunan,
would
also.
love to chat more with you on that. But for
Likewise.
now, we're gonna take a break and we'll come back with interviews still with Irvan Helmi, and we will also play a game. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned on the 3 Hour News Show. Only Aussie today.
Uh-oh.